God bless you. It's great to connect with you. Thank you so much for staying with us for this course. The Lord has certainly been good to us. We are grateful. God is certainly good. The testimony that I could give, and which I believe we all have, really is not sufficient enough to really express what God has done and is doing in each of our lives. I'm quite sure. But it's just a small expression of what He has done and what He's doing in us. And I just want to be pliable in His hand at whatever stage. Now, we are still in Ecclesiastes. Still, we've just more or less started chapter 6, looking at, as Solomon has stated, three limitations. I believe it was in chapter 4, there were, was it six? Six that frustrated the human heart. Six problems, if I'm remembering quite clearly. And I think I did make reference to it. It was either in the previous session or in the session before that where we read the entire chapter 6 of Ecclesiastes. But in this particular chapter, Solomon, the teacher, the preacher, is looking and it has mentioned, let's say it has, because we have read the entire chapter. I hope that you've read it also. But he is telling us of three limitations that frustrates the human heart. The first one, which we attempted, I can only say attempted, because um, it is only an attempt. It's for you to dig deeper, to go further in the gospel. So it is an attempt. I can't talk. I am not. Uh, I am not versatile enough to really go into the scriptures. I don't have the time. You certainly don't have the time. And the amount of time that I do take, whether it be 30 minutes, 15 or 45 minutes, 50 minutes at a time sometimes, is not enough time really to delve into the scriptures. And that is whichever part of scripture you want to look at, and especially in the text in which we are looking at. Uh, but in the first, or in the session, the previous session before now, we looked at um, wealth and honor, which is inadequate. Wealth and honor is inadequate. These things fail, and if you read verses 1 to 6, you will find here where Solomon, and it is even said that Solomon was a narcissist, was just only thinking of himself. Well, if you think that, that's fine. I mean, I'm not here to tell you or to tell you or um to let me just sorry, I'm not here to to sway your mind either against or for Solomon. I'm going to leave it up to you. I'm just here just to look at the scriptures and to encourage you as the scriptures has spoken to me. I feel that the same way how it speaks to me, it should also speak to you, it should appeal to you wherever you are, whatever state uh, you're in. It should be a source of strength and encouragement. But then you can even go further into your studies again, whether it be something that you're doing on your own or it's an official study. You will always come out with something of a blessing to you. But Solomon here addresses the inadequacy of wealth and honor. these things are fleeting. Wealth comes and goes, and it doesn't really help. You can't take anything with you. And honor, that comes and goes. Yeah? It is only for the day and the time in which we live. In this particular session today, we're looking at, as I put in the subject, I'm heading here, human appetite never satisfied. The human appetite is never satisfied, is never fully satisfied. And let us just read three verses here. I'm going to read from the Jewish text as well as from the King James Version, 7, 8, and 9. And then we'll take a few moments just to look at this particular passage. Verse 7 of Ecclesiastes chapter 6. The purpose of all toil is to fill the mouth, yet the appetite is never satisfied. What advantage has the wine over the food, or the person with experience if he's poor? Verse 9. Better what the eyes can see than meandering desire. Yet this too is pointless and feeding on wind. Another very unusual phrase here that Solomon uses. Let's read from the King James Version and hear what um, this translation says. All the labor of man is for his mouth, and yet the appetite is not filled. Verse 8. For what hath the wise more than the fool? What hath the poor that knoweth to walk before the living? Verse 9. Better is the sight of the eyes than the wandering of the desire. This is also vanity and vexation of spirit. We're more used to that kind of phraseology than what it says here, feeding on wind. It comes and goes. It doesn't stick around, does it? So, looking at the the um, the human appetite, it is very discontent. It never satisfies. In this specific area, the rich, the poor, the wise, and the foolish are all on equal ground. No matter what each individual acquires, no matter what individual achieves or aspires to in life, it is not enough. Human beings will always crave for more. And the teacher here, the preacher, Solomon, the wise man, there's two questions here that are posed. One, what advantage does a wise person have over a fool? And two, what does the poor, uncultured man gain by improving himself? Now, those are two questions that I'm sure will take some time for us to really think about. And even if we were to put answers together for ourselves, even without going further into the scriptures, but just for us, for you, for me, just to give some thought to it. But let's hear what Solomon says. Let's hear what Solomon has deduced from both of these questions. What what advantage does a wise person have over a fool? The wise may make better decisions, be more respected, and spare themselves some grief. But as far as finding satisfaction in life goes, wise men have no advantage over foolish people. This is what Solomon is really saying to us. We could say a lot more, but just take that in for a moment. Wise people may make better decisions, and I'm sure you would agree with that. That's why at times We wish we were better informed or we were a bit more wise in some of the foolish decisions we've made in the past. We're not all perfect, are we? I certainly am not. But the wise may make better decisions, be more respected, and spare themselves some grief. But as far as satisfaction or finding satisfaction in life goes, wise people have no advantage over foolish people. The second question, let's look at the second question. A lot more could be said, but again, we don't have that time, do we? But you have the time before you. You know how to manage your time. You may have better things to do, or you may be involved in something right now that you can't really spend much time thinking about it. So therefore, you manage the time for yourself and go back to this question. The second question here that I had asked was, what does the poor, uncultured individual gain by improving himself? The teacher, the preacher, again, Solomon, king of Israel, is not belittling efforts, nor is he saying that people should not be ambitious and seek to expand themselves. He is simply stating the truth that these admirable, worthwhile achievements can never bring total satisfaction to the heart because there will always be a desire for more. A person's heart is like a bucket with a small hole in the bottom. The bucket may be full temporarily, but the water will gradually, continuously leak out. More water must be added perpetually to keep the bucket full. We all know what that is. We will never be fully satisfied because somewhere along our walk in this life, our walk, our existence, we're always wanting more. We're always seeking more. The human appetite is never, never sustained. We always want more. Yeah. So nothing on earth, verse 9 says, better is the sight of the eyes than wandering of the desire. This is also vanity and vexation of spirit. In other words, according to what the Jewish text says and tells us, feeding on wind. This also is feeding on wind. So nothing on this earth, nothing under the sun, which is on earth, not above the sun, which again, if it's under the sun, it's on earth, or anything above the sun, let us say, is in heaven. The teacher is not telling us to look anywhere above. He's telling us, and he's reminded us that nothing on earth will ever satisfy the cravings of our soul, the cravings of our heart. Yeah. One, we must be content with what we have. The teacher, the preacher, again, is expressing and he's encouraging us the virtues of simple contentment. What you see or actually possess is better than all your roving eye can desire and not possess. Be at peace with what God has given you. Those are great words, you know. Those are great words for us to remember. We must be at peace with what God has given us. Secondly, craving more and more is meaningless. It is futile. It is unsatisfying. Do not unreasonably expect that the appetite can ever be fulfilled. A bigger house will not make you happy forever. You may have had a small house. A few years ago, you moved to a bigger house. That bigger house, to some extent, you're going to get fed up with it. You want something bigger and better. You want a nice car, you buy a nice little small car, then you want a medium-sized car. You're happy with that for a while, probably for a few years, but then you want a bigger and probably a better one. That appetite there, it will always be there for bigger and for better. money in the bank is not always the answer either. One more indulgence in fleshly pleasure, that will not satisfy you for very long. A promotion will never give you all the respect that you crave for. They will, people will shake your hand, or they'll they appreciate the effort that you have made in order to achieve that promotion. But after a while, some of those very same people get fed up with you. They wish that you never had it, and they may even wish you that you would leave it and go somewhere else. And even you yourself, you may even after a while you get fed up with it, and you want to go on to bigger and better responsibility. Heart, soul, never satisfied. That is why we need God. Only God, only God, only the Lord can fill the heart, fill the desires that we have, fully satisfy all that the human wants. Because yes, that's where mankind has gone wrong. We look on what what we see, what we can feel, what we touch. We look on what we can reach for, and we believe that that alone will satisfy us. That alone will keep us. But it won't. Believe me, these things will not. We need, we do need, my friend. Yes, we do need to um, to crave for God. Blessed are those who hunger and thirst after what? Righteousness, for they shall be filled. That's what the Lord said to his disciples, said to those who were with him on that great morning, in relation to the Beatitudes. If you know that very well, you know where that is. So let us look to the Lord. Let us continue to reach out for the Lord. Let us continue as we have reached or read through chapters 1 to 5. Let me say we have read through chapter 6. So I won't mention that for now. But Solomon, the teacher, Solomon, the preacher, he has very much gone through some point of what fails man, what has failed humanity. He has gone through, he has studied, he has examined those things, and he says, these things will fail us. These things will fail you. It failed him. Remember, he's the most wise man ever. And to me, if you place him against many of the wise men of our day and our time, even though he acted foolishly at times, and he himself will tell you that. I'm sure Solomon himself will tell you that. Even though he acted foolishly at times, however, I don't believe that there is ever a man in our generation, in our world, that has ever had the ability of wisdom, understanding, and knowledge as much as what God gave him during his time on this earth. I don't believe so. We do have many wise individuals. We do have some very knowledgeable individuals. We do have men and women of understanding in our day and time. Yes, I believe that. I do believe. But what God gave Solomon, I don't think anybody could rival. When God gives you something, I don't believe that there's any man that could rival those abilities. They may come up to a particular standard, but what God gives, and especially in the sense of what he gave Solomon, that's unparalleled. And Solomon used what God. We also, my friend, can ask God to help us. And the scripture does tell us, if any man ask God for wisdom, just let me add, I'm not going to add anything to scripture, but let me add, if any man asks God for understanding and knowledge, God will give, and he will give liberty. God bless you. And we'll see you as we close down or close up on chapter 6 of Ecclesiastes, and we will be looking at the limitation